And we're back with a fourth part for the mansion. So in this part, we're going to be finishing off the sides of the building and also making a good start on the back. But to begin with, for the sides, all we're going to be doing is just mirroring what we did underneath directly on top. So this is going to be exactly the same as what we did for the front, as again, we're copying what we did underneath. Also, just to help you out a bit, on screen now is an image showing you what it should look like once we've finished off the sides. So starting off, we're just going to place our sandstone frames for both the sides, and then we're going to come back and place our glass panes in the windows. You will also notice that I'm constantly checking as well to make sure that we've placed exactly the same as what we've got underneath. But for this first part, I will be speeding it up, as again, we're just placing our sandstone frames and then coming back and just adding our glass panes. So you can see that's the first of our 3 sections for the left. Now for this side, just to carry on and do the other 2. So that's the sandstone placed for the left hand side. Now coming over to the right hand side. So you can see we've now placed all of our sandstone for the sides of the building, and all we're going to do now is come back and fill in all of our windows with our glass panes. As you might have guessed, we're now going to come over to the right hand side and just fill in all of our windows with our glass panes. There you go, so we've now finished off the sides of the building, and we can now start on the back. So for this, we're just going to begin by coming to the back left hand corner, where we're just going to place 8 blocks out from the bottom right hand corner. And on top of this, on the far left hand 2 blocks, just adding 2 more sandstone blocks. And then just doing the same for the far right hand block as well, but making sure to only place 1 block on the right. But for all the blocks we placed our sandstone on top of, you can just extend them all up another 6 blocks. So just making them 8 blocks in height overall. Next, across the top row, just placing your sandstone all the way across, and remembering to add your corner blocks in as well. So that's the first window done for the back. Next, coming behind the bottom left hand corner, where we're just going to place 9 blocks out. But on top of this row, starting from the right, we're going to begin again by placing one sandstone block, and then after that leaving a 2 block space, just adding another 2 blocks, and the same again after that. And as you might have guessed, we're now going to extend all of them up. But for this window, we're just going to extend across the top 2 rows this time. After you've done this, just flying across to the right hand side and just doing exactly the same. So again, starting off by placing 8 blocks out. And on the far right hand 2 blocks and the far left hand block, just placing your sandstone again. Then just extending them up 6 more blocks. After this, just placing your row across the top. Now to just add our corner blocks. After we sleep, we're just going to come behind the bottom right hand corner, where we're just going to place 9 blocks out. And on top of this, starting from the far left hand side, just adding 1 sandstone block. After this, just alternating between leaving your 2 block space and adding your 2 sandstone blocks. Once you've done this, just extending them up another 6 blocks. And also remembering to extend across the top 2 rows. Now that we've done that, just coming back over to the left, and here we're just going to come to the bottom left hand corner of the last window we just placed, where we're just going to place 12 blocks out. but directly on top of this, starting from the right, we're going to begin by adding 2 sandstone blocks. And this time leaving a 3 block space every time, we're going to add our 2 sandstone blocks. So in total you should have 3 lots of 2 sandstone blocks on top. After this, you can just extend them all up. And for this window, we're only going to place 1 row across the top, but we are going to be adding our corner blocks to this one. Now just to add our corner blocks. So again, in the top left and top right hand corner for both the windows. Once you've done this, we're going to fly across to the other side and start by placing 12 blocks out. But on top of this, starting from the left, just alternating between placing your 2 sandstone blocks and leaving your 3 block space. Then just extending them up. Next, just remember to add your row across the top and placing your corner blocks. Now that we've done that, back on the other side, on the left hand side of the bottom left hand block, we're just going to place 5 blocks across. And as always, extending them up to the same height as the sandstone next to this. But back over on the right hand side, just mirroring it by placing 5 blocks out from the bottom right hand corner. But the last thing we're going to be doing for this part is we're just going to be adding 1 more window on each side. For this then, we're just going to begin from the bottom right hand corner by placing 6 blocks out. But this window is going to be identical to the first window we placed for the back, except it's going to be 2 blocks narrower. So if you can remember back to the first window, we're going to begin by placing 2 blocks out on the far left hand 2 blocks, and 1 block out on the right hand side. Afterwards, add in your row across the top and your 2 corner blocks. Now that we've done that, back over on the other side, we're just going to start off by placing 7 blocks out from the bottom left hand corner. And on top of the far right hand 2 blocks and far left block, we're just going to add our sandstone on top, and remembering to extend them up. Lastly then, just adding your row across the top, and also adding your 2 corner blocks to finish off. There you go, that was the last thing we're going to be doing for this part. In the next part, we'll be carrying on with the back of the building.